Max Brantley of the Arkansas Times on Friday, March the 3rd. The big news occurred in Arkansas around quitting time yesterday afternoon when an indictment was quietly filed in the Fayetteville Division of Federal Court that added 3 more names to the growing scandal about misuse of state surplus money known as the General Improvement Fund. Micah Neal, a former representative, already pleaded guilty to taking kickbacks for money he directed to a college and a nonprofit agency in that part of the state. Yesterday, former Senator John Woods was indicted. Also, Orrin Paris III, president of Clesia College in Springdale. Also, Randall Shelton, who functioned as a business consultant, who's a friend of both John Woods and the college president, Orrin Paris. Here's the deal. They funneled state money, state tax money, to the college and another private nonprofit agency up there. Legislators told how the money was to be spent. It enriched, for example, the college president, Orrin Harris, who made $300,000 a year being president of the college, still is, by the way. And he paid a kickback through Shelton's consulting agency that went back to Woods and Micah Neal. Now, the interesting thing is this indictment mentions an unnamed business executive and lobbyist whose company also benefited from this money. He's not named in the indictment. What's going to happen with him? Is he going to be indicted? Perhaps is he cooperating because he's somebody who works for an agency that got money all over the state from any number of agencies, worked with other legislators. Not to say that was a crime, but it certainly raises questions. The Department of Justice, which has handled this out of a public corruption unit in Washington, is not answering any questions so far, but we're going to stay tuned. There's a lot to see. We know from a divorce filing that the lobbyist linked to this case is likely Rusty Cranford, a lobbyist, worked for a nonprofit that provided services to disabled and disadvantaged people. His divorce case says he's under investigation in this case. He's trying to fight an effort to delay. His wife, who is suing for divorce, wants the case to go to trial because she wants to get hold of his money before it's all spent up, perhaps in legal fees. So there are lots of interesting developments. Clesia College, which prides itself on its conservative Christian background, says it backs Orrin Paris. There's a Paris family member who's on the board that decided to keep him on and keep paying him. I think they're going to perhaps have some questions answered in the future. There's a pending lawsuit against this college by a former employee who says he thinks they've done things wrong in the way they've handled federal work study money. The college may not be quite as favored as it has been by Arkansas legislators through the years. Speaking of the Arkansas legislature, it's been a house of horrors this week. I don't know if I have time to list all the terrible things that have occurred and the legislation that has been filed at the last minute. There's legislation to punish same-sex people, transgender people. They want to give schools the ability to discriminate against transgender people without fear of lawsuit. They want to allow local governments to exempt themselves from the medical marijuana amendment, their gun bills, their bills to require photo IDs for people on food stamps. It's just really sort of amazing. They want to prevent transgender people from changing their birth certificates as the law now allows. Mean and petty and stupid in some cases, I think, are not too harsh for some of what was filed. Kim Hendren probably led the day with national attention to his bill to ban the books of Howard Zinn from Arkansas schools. Dangerous guy, that Howard Zinn. He had an unconventional view of history in some cases. The state will move ahead with executions unless something else happens. The Supreme Court cleared yesterday the executions set by Asa Hutchinson. They said a stay is no longer in effect. He's got 8 scheduled in 10 days in April, but defense attorneys vow to keep trying to fight that. In Little Rock, residents of West Little Rock say they're going to continue to fight developments that would rely on packaged sewage treatment plants. They think they could pour dangerous stuff into waterways out in that part of town. Representative Andy Davis, a Republican from West Little Rock who sells wastewater treatment plants like that would be used in this development, has tried to make better a very bad piece of legislation he passed to benefit his business in 2015 to make it somewhat more acceptable. Neighbors say no good. They don't want these treatment plants and these additional homes out on scenic rivers in that part of town. City Board's going to take it up Tuesday. And finally, amidst all this bad news, one piece of good news. Senator Joyce Elliott of Little Rock, thank goodness for her. She's introduced a bill, a very simple bill. It's a bill that's been done in other states, and it says in so many words that same-sex married couples can be presumed to be parents of children born to one or the other of the parents during their wedding. This is the same privilege afforded heterosexual couples. No, don't tell me it's about biology, because many heterosexual couples sometimes rely on donated sperm or eggs or even surrogacy to have a child. They don't have to go through the hoops same-sex couples does. It's just simple justice that this law should pass, but this is Arkansas. It might not be so easy. I'm Max Brantley. They say there's a town hall meeting in Heber Springs tomorrow at 8 a.m. for Rick Caldwell and Tom Cotton. I don't know if it's truly open to the public or not. Drive on up there and see. Whatever you do, resist. I'll be back next week.